CENTCOM.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For arms. Ready, step.
Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carlos del Castillo, and I am a Gold Star father. Welcome to MacDill Park and a Memorial Day ceremony adjacent to the Gold Star Family's Memorial Monument. As many of you know, this monument was dedicated on November 7th of 2020 as a tribute to Gold Star families and relatives who have sacrificed a loved one for the freedom that we enjoy today. MacDill Park was established through a joint effort between the City of Tampa and MacDill Air Force Base as a place where we could gather to recognize and remember the sacrifices of our men and women in uniform and the grateful support of the people of Tampa. We are honored to have several distinguished guests with us this morning. Please hold your applause until I have introduced each guest. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor, Admiral Eric Olson, U.S. Navy, Vice Admiral James Malloy, Deputy Commander of the United States Central Command, Brigadier General Henrik Larsen, the Senior National Representative from Denmark and the Chairman of the International Coalition, Brigadier General Martin Hein, the Senior National Representative from Germany, Rear Admiral Stefano Frumento, the Senior National Representative from Italy, Rear Admiral Alejandro Cuerda, the Senior National Representative from Spain, Captain Peter Uspring, the Senior National Representative from Sweden, Colonel Levente Weber, the Senior National Representative from Hungary, Colonel Eric Andreessen, the Senior National Representative from Canada, Colonel Shikwan Chue, the Senior National Representative from Korea, Lieutenant Colonel David Regnault, Military Assistant to the French Senior National Representative, Lieutenant Colonel Kyo Kim, the Senior Deputy National Representative from Korea, Lieutenant Colonel Eric Sorensen, the Deputy Senior National Representative from Denmark. We are honored to have 20 Gold Star family members with us today. As you read the names of the fallen heroes, with their Gold Star family members, please stand. Corporal Barton R. Hummelhans, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant Terry Lisk, U.S. Army. Staff Sergeant Robert Thornton, Jr., U.S. Army. First Lieutenant Gary Quick, U.S. Air Force. Staff Sergeant Ergen Osman, U.S. Army. Chief Warrant Officer Scott Dyer, U.S. Army. Corporal Frank R. Gross, U.S. Army. First Lieutenant Dimitri Del Castillo, U.S. Army. Please join in a round of applause for our distinguished guests. Memorial Day. The national holiday we celebrate today was originally known as Decoration Day. It originated in the years following the Civil War and became an official federal holiday in 1971. The Civil War ended in 1865 and claimed more lives than any conflict in U.S. history and required the establishment of our first national cemeteries. By the late 1860s, Americans had begun holding springtime tribute to these countless fallen soldiers, decorating their graves with flowers and reciting prayers. One of the earliest commemorations was organized by a group of formerly enslaved folks out of Charleston, South Carolina, less than a month after the end of the Civil War in 1865. In 1868, Union General John Logan called for a nationwide day of remembrance to be designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country. That is a short historical perspective of how and why we are gathered here this morning. This park and today's remembrance would not be possible without the leadership and support of the City of Tampa, led by Mayor Jane Castor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mayor Castor to the podium.
Good to see you.
Good afternoon. This is, as it is every single year, quite an honor for me. I want to thank everyone who has made this memorial possible. I see the Reed family is here. I thank you. And MacDill Air Force Base, General Deal, everyone who had a hand in making this memorial and choosing this particular location as well. You see a lot of individuals that are out on the water. They're walking up and down the Riverwalk, and they will be able to see this memorial and listen to today's event and ensure that we don't just recognize those men and women that take the oath to save and serve their country and save our democracy one day a year, that we ensure that we remember their service and sacrifice every single day of the year. I welcome all of the coalition members. That is a testament to how the good around the world come together in collaboration to ensure that evil never wins, that we can all work together to ensure a peaceful world. To the Gold Star families, yesterday was one of my son's 23rd birthday. I'm making myself a little older now. 23 years old. And for a moment I looked at him and I thought, I am the luckiest person on earth to be able to have my sons here with me today. And when I look at the families who have lost a loved one in service to our country, I can't imagine the pain that you feel each and every day. And I know, being a police officer, individuals that I have lost, friends of mine, co-workers, partners, I know that feeling, and I know that it never goes away. We cannot turn back the hands of time and bring your loved ones back. But what we can do as a grateful nation is to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And to let you know that your loved one will never be forgotten. And we will not come together once a year to honor them. We will remember their service and their sacrifice every waking moment, because it is their service that ensures our country remains free. So I thank you all, and also you have my pledge that your loved ones will never be forgotten. May God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Mayor Castor. Tampa is honored to be the host city for MacDill Air Force Base, where a number of the Department of Defense's most significant and substantial military commands reside. Please welcome Vice Admiral James Malloy, the Deputy Commander of United States Central Command.
Carlos, thanks for doing this again and being the voice. Mayor, I am old, so I'm putting my glasses on. Again, thank you, Mayor Castor and members of CRISP, and good morning, everybody. General Deal, Admiral Olson, Ben Eason, it's great to see you again, and my U.S. Central Command Coalition partners in the third row. We're honored by your presence this morning. I'm truly grateful to return to this beautiful park today, my third time officially. I'm reminded of the park's dedication ceremony and last year's Memorial Day observance, and feel like I'm surrounded by family once again. I speak for General Kurilla when I say how honored we are that U.S. Central Command at MacDill Air Force Base has such a special relationship with the Tampa community, and I thank you for inviting me here once again. I'd like to recognize the airmen from the 6th Air Mobility Wing who are professionally representing us as a color guard this morning. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Today marks my last Memorial Day in uniform. I will retire later this year after having gratefully served our nation for over 36 years. As I approach the end of my service, I find I'm reflecting more and more upon what mattered most to me during my career. The incredible servicemen and women, heroes that I have been honored to work with, and the ideals upon which this nation was founded. Patriotism, courage, camaraderie, and a willingness to sacrifice in defense of the country and the American way of life. Men and women in uniform breathe life into these ideals and forge our military into the strongest fighting force in the world. Many have served honorably in uniform, but today we pause in this hallowed place to remember those who gave all that they had for this country, their last full measure. Those of us still in uniform also use Memorial Day as an opportunity to rededicate ourselves to service in their names, and as a day to reach out in deep gratitude and even deeper respect to those they left behind, a renewal of vows, so to speak. That spirit and those bonds and the dedication to those truths we hold self-evident surround us here today in this little park, a special place for us to gather in Tampa and reflect upon the real cost of freedom. As people stroll, bike, or blade by, some quietly, some not so much, I celebrate that activity because here along this beautiful river walk, we are reminded of the immeasurable gifts our departed heroes secured for us: freedom and opportunity, bedrock ideals of this country they loved and that they died for. So even as we adjourn to our cookouts and ball games and perhaps even Madeira Beach or here on the Riverwalk, I hope that we leave this place reflecting on two groups of departed veterans: those who served and came home but are now departed from us, and those lost while in the defense of their country. My father belongs to the first group, World War II, South Pacific, and his Eisenhower jacket hangs in my office today, a reminder of the courage of an 18-year-old from Altoona, Pennsylvania. The second group, I would imagine, comes with a special pain and deserves a special honor. These were lives cut short, bright futures unrealized, families torn with sorrow and overwhelmed with loss. Throughout America's history, and especially during the recent 20 years of continuous conflict, many of these fallen were young, now forever young, brimming with potential to match their courage. They sacrificed all they had and dreamed for their family, friends, and country, for our future, for our potential, creating an obligation and a trust for us to keep. And we keep that trust in a small way here today and wonder, not for the first time, what possessed them to act with such selfless determination? What makes us worthy for what they have given us? And how can we show our gratitude? We ask that of the fallen heroes we celebrate and remember today, those who left us too soon in the service of our country, celebrating their lives and honoring their service, while mourning their loss and imagining what lives they could have lived. Specialists Justin Dean Coleman, Corporal Frank Robert Gross, Corporal Barton Hummelhaus, Sergeant Terry Michael Lisk, Sergeant Robert Allen Thornton, Jr., First Lieutenant Gary Quick, Staff Sergeant Ergen Osman, First Lieutenant Dimitri de Castillo, Chief Warrant Officer Scott Dyer. These names, among so many others we recall in silence here today, asking for perhaps the 1,000th time, what if? Would Specialist Coleman and his wife Nicole be celebrating a milestone anniversary this year? Would Corporal Gross be surfing in Puerto Rico and have his art displayed in a gallery somewhere? How many children might Corporal Hummelhans have today? Would Staff Sergeant Osmond have achieved the trifecta, Marines, Army, and then possibly Navy too? Sarah, I told you I'd get that in. Would First Lieutenant DiCastillo and his wife Katie be a dual military power couple by now? But today we must also think beyond our lost comrades, for as courageous as it is to give one's life for freedom, that sacrifice takes but a blink of an eye. Others pay a cost that goes for much longer. And we are honored here today by the presence of those who wear that heavy mantle and personify the cost over an entire lifetime, our Gold Star families. Once a year we gather to remember what they live every single day. We will never lose our deep gratitude to them, and we promise that we will never forget, as the mayor has said. So as we go about the rest of our day and every day, we promise to remember their achievements or their passions as seen through your eyes, through your tears. We humbly extend our hands to you and share with you our pride in serving with them and acknowledge the impact that they had on the nation that they loved. We hope you can find some comfort knowing their memories live on through the generations of sailors, soldiers, airmen, and Marines inspired by their bravery, a North Star to guide our actions and bolster our courage. They will remain an inspiration to those they sacrificed for, as First Lieutenant Del Castillo does through Texas A&M University's College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences Veterinary Valor Fund. I got that out. Established in his memory to celebrate Dimitri's valor, created by Linda McCormick, one of his elementary school teachers. The fund will ensure military personnel and veterans have access to life-saving care for their animals. They remain an inspiration as Corporal Hummelhans is to his students at St. John the Baptist Catholic School in Pennsylvania. When the Travis Manion Foundation presented their Character Does Matter leadership challenge to them, an 8th grader, Shane McCardle, took the lesson to heart and founded Operation Thank a Vet, which carries on Corporal Hummelhans's legacy of service in his community by collecting and sending cards to inspire our men and women in uniform, veterans of all ages, and our wounded warriors. As I close my last memorial event wearing the cloth of my nation, I will step out of this uniform, but I will never surrender the sense of debt I feel deeply on this special day to those men and women, and I commit myself to honor their service, their sacrifice, and always, always remember the price they paid every single day by those that they have left behind. It is our sacred honor to remember and support them, and our Gold Star families are our sacred trust to keep. Our fallen have earned at least that and so much more. From the moment they raised their right hand to serve to the moment they fell asleep and trusted in God's loving hands, they kept and keep America's ideals alive through their legacy of their selfless courage, their camaraderie to push through and stay with their teammates and not let them down, and above all, their willingness to sacrifice in defense of the country and the American way of life. So today on a Memorial Day, let us honor our fallen heroes, respect their sacrifice, and embrace with humble and enduring gratitude those they leave behind, some gathered with us here today. They deserve nothing less. The nation they serve deserves nothing less. Thank you for gathering here this morning and helping us to remember how much we owe and to whom we owe it. I'll leave you with one last thought, a quote paraphrased from General George Patton, who reflected, "It is foolish and wrong to mourn those who died. Rather, we should thank God that those men and women lived." Thank you very much.
At this time, the Gold Star families will accompany Vice Admiral Malloy to place a wreath at the Gold Star Monument. The Gold Star families, if you'll walk up as well on either side. Thank you. Today's remembrance would not be possible without the leadership and support of the City of Tampa, led by Mayor Jane Castor, the Jeff Vinnick Family Foundation, and the Lightning Foundation, represented by Miss Elizabeth Frazier. The Calvin Reed Foundation and the Brand Company also support. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the final honors. The firing of the three-gun volley, followed by a moment of silence and the playing of taps. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please return to your seats. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, as Admiral Malloy mentioned, I'm sure you all understand that for Gold Star families, every day is Memorial Day. Thus, we, the Gold Star families, thank you for taking the time to be here today. We thank you for honoring the men and women, our loved ones, that gave the last full measure of their devotion to their country. And we thank you for remembering their noble and selfless service. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our dedication ceremony. Thank you for joining us today.